Captain Baker Dill, on Plymouth Island, heads out daily on his boat, the Serenity, chasing a famous tuna he's named Justice. This fish is his whole world, and his obsession messes with his work. One day, with Justice nearby, even with his first mate Duke's strong protests, Dill ditches giving fishing rods to the tourists and goes after Justice himself. When the tourists ask for their rods, he flashes a knife at them, and they refuse to pay for the trip. But here's the kicker. After all that drama, Justice still gets away. Reed is watching this whole mess from the shore, practically dying to meet Dill. He's so eager he runs into the water in his suit, but he just can't reach him. When the trip wraps up, the tourists bail without paying, and Duke's sweating, thinking they're not going to see a dime today. Dill knows how to hustle for some quick cash, so he swings by his friend Karen's place, hangs out for a bit, and she fronts him some money. Dill seizes the chance to ask Karen about her son. He's actually thinking about firing Duke. After that, Dill hits up Jess's bar for a drink, then meets Duke, gives him the cash, and tells him to be back for another trip the next morning. But this time, no tourists. It's just them and Justice. Duke thinks it's nuts to burn gas on a fun trip when they're broke, but Dill's chill. He saw Justice today, so that fish is close by and they gotta try again. That evening, Dill heads home. He's plastered, talking to memories of his son, apologizing for blowing it with that fish. He flashes back to the days he used to fish with Patrick. Meanwhile, his son, Patrick, is at his mom's place, staring at his dad's picture and remembering the exact same stuff. The next morning, Dill's truck rolls to the harbor, and he doesn't even notice Reed staring at him from a passing bus. Dill and Duke head out again, chasing Justice, but they can't even find the darn fish. When they get back, Dill fires Duke, blaming him for their rotten luck. Karen's peeking out her window, watching it all go down. That evening, Dill hits Jess's bar for a drink. Jess tells him to see a therapist, but Dill brushes it off. Their chat gets cut short when Dill's ex-wife, Constance, shows up. He hasn't seen her in years. Constance calls Dill Jagdish and suggests they go somewhere private to talk. Dill takes Constance to his boat. Again, Karen's watching from her window. Constance spills the tea. Dill was right. Her new husband, Frank, has turned into a total monster, beating both her and Patrick. Dill tells her to just divorce him, but she can't. Her husband's a big shot, knows all the powerful people, and he won't let her walk away easily. Whenever they fight, Patrick bolts to his room, terrified, and zones out on computer games. She says he's got mad hacker skills, but seems totally broken. She's here for Patrick. She's got to save him, and she needs Dill's help to do it. Her husband's also headed to the island soon, and she wants to book a trip on Dill's boat. She's willing to drop $1 million rupees if Dill tosses her drunk husband into the ocean for Justice to eat during the trip. Dill can't believe his ears, kicks Constance off his boat, and then takes off for a trip. Reed, sprinting towards the beach, misses Dill yet again. In the morning, Dill cruises home after a solid fishing haul. Karen's waiting for him. She's itching to know about Constance, but Dill shuts down her questions and just dives into the ocean for a swim. As Dill goes under, he starts hearing voices. Constance's husband screaming at him, and Patrick telling him it's something he has to do. He even sees Patrick swimming with him, but when he tries to get closer, Dill wakes up at his kitchen table, touching his damp shirt. At that exact moment, Patrick pops out from behind his curtain, playing his video game in his room, and finds water spilled on his table. Dill's totally shaken by these glimpses of his son in his dreams and is desperate to know if he's actually here. That same day, Constance's husband, Frank, rolls up to the island. He wastes zero time, storming into Constance's hotel room and telling her to strip so he can check her out. Frank spots a mark on Constance's hip he really doesn't like, and he pulls out his belt to punish her. Meanwhile, Dill swings by Layla's shop to settle his tabs. Layla tells him everyone on the island knows about Constance and how Frank roughs her up. She also mentions that some dude named Reed is looking for him, but Dill just shrugs it off. When Dill hits his boat, Frank and Constance are already there. Constance calls him Mr. Dill instead of Jagdish because Frank has no clue who he really is. Frank bitches at Dill for refusing to take them on a sea trip. Dill refuses again, saying he's got no first mate right now, and taking tourists out without one is against the law. Still, Frank insists money fixes everything and declares he'll be there for a 7 a.m. sea trip tomorrow. He tells Dill to be on time and flashes his gun before he leaves. Ignoring Frank's threats, Dill heads out to sea, hunting for Justice. Again, Reed gets to the harbor a little late, but checking his watch, he feels something's off. There's a 20-second delay in his usual timing today. Dill still can't land Justice today, but he does reel in some other fish to sell at the market before heading back. After that, he spends the night with Karen, who again pumps him for info about Constance and tells him he's got to pick, save that woman or catch the tuna. Later, Dill hits the market and finds Duke, who heard Frank's willing to drop $1,000,000 for the sea trip. Duke pleads that they're desperate for cash. He wants to get his grandson baptized, and the Serenity needs repairs. Duke found out from Karen that Dill fired him out of pity, and he's not having it, saying he won't get another shot like this. Dill agrees to take Frank on the trip, but with one condition. Duke has to keep an eye on his captain to make sure he doesn't lose his cool. They both head to the harbor, where Frank and Constance are already waiting again. Dill corners Constance privately and tells her he's only taking Frank on the trip for fishing, period. Then to sway him, Constance tells him how Frank beats Patrick. She also reveals she knows Dill talks to Patrick constantly, and Patrick can hear him through his computer screen because they're connected. Dill shrugs off Constance's words and sets sail with Duke and Frank. While fishing, Frank tries to chit-chat with both of them, and eventually the conversation veers to his stepson, Patrick. He calls Patrick weird and whines that the kid never comes out to play, just glued to his computer 24/7. Frank thought Patrick was up to no good on his computer, but he's just playing some fishing video game. Patrick tells Frank that if he doesn't catch a fish all day, he'll find a way to kill him. And Dill, startled, finishes the sentence right along with Frank. They talk about why there's no police on this island, but then a fish gets hooked. Frank tries to reel it in at night and slips on the deck, but Dill doesn't capitalize on the moment. Instead, he helps Frank catch the fish alongside Duke. Constance is gutted to see them come back with her husband. When Frank leaves, she goes to Dill and tries to bribe him, because Frank will definitely be back for more fishing. Duke is secretly eavesdropping on their conversation. Constance tells Dill that this whole thing was Patrick's idea, and their son wants him to do this because he wants justice. But before she can finish, Frank storms back and drags Constance away. A storm is brewing over the island, and Reed's watching it from the harbor. At the same time, Duke corners Dill, asking what the heck is going on. Dill takes Duke to a bar and spills the whole story. He used to be a soldier named Jagdish, but when he came back from the war, his mind was shot, and Constance left him for Frank. That's why Dill feels like he never truly came back from the war. Hearing about the $1,000,000 offer, Duke reminds Dill to focus on catching that famous tuna instead of getting greedy or taking a life. After Duke leaves, Dill heads to his boat and just chills in the rain, thinking. Suddenly, he hears Patrick calling him, which Karen is watching from her window. At that moment, Constance shows up and flashes the ring he gave her, proving she still thinks about him. Then she kisses Dill, and he agrees to kill Frank. But in return, he wants to meet Patrick. Constance agrees, telling him she's still the same girl he fell for. Then Dill gets intimate with her inside the boat and sees the marks of Frank's beatings on her body. Constance says they're both miserable in their own ways. After they're done, Dill says he will kill Frank and sends Constance away. After that, Dill tries to talk to Patrick, believing he can hear him, and promises his son he'll do this for him so he can finally break free. When Dill gets back home, Reed is waiting for him. Reed introduces himself as a salesman from a fishing company. Dill's stumped why Reed's hawking something at 2:30 a.m. So Reed explains he tried hard to meet him all day, but couldn't. He also says tomorrow's going to be a huge day for Dill because he knows practically everything about him. Reed's got the latest fishing tech in his suitcase, and Dill can use it for free for a week. That gadget's going to be super useful tomorrow and will help Dill catch fish. Reed claims he is the rule. Dill doesn't get what he means and is shocked when Reed tells him to forget killing anyone and just focus on catching the fish. Dill threatens Reed with a knife, demanding to know how he knows all this while Patrick's playing a game on his computer. Reed explains he's just playing his part in this game. This is actually a game with tons of choices, and the game creator's favorite is fishing. The main goal of this game is to catch a specific fish, and that's Dill's ultimate task. But it looks like he might end up killing someone instead of fishing. According to the rules, nobody dies on Plymouth Island, but Reed's curious why the game creator bent the rules. Suddenly, Dill jolts awake before his alarm, realizing he can't even sleep before it goes off. He replays his talk with Reed, pieces things together, and realizes everything points to one truth. There's nothing else in this world except the island. After a quick swim in the ocean, Dill pulls his truck into the middle of the road and tries to talk to Patrick. He says he's going to kill Frank. He has no idea how he ended up on this island, but he still remembers those fishing trips with his son. He figures he went crazy from the war, so Patrick made him a mad fisherman here. Sometimes Dill catches glimpses of his own dead body buried in the sand. Before Dill can piece it all together, Karen's son Sam interrupts. Dill always thought Sam brought him good luck, a positive sign, but he refuses to give Sam Duke's spot because the rules have changed. After that, Dill goes to Layla's shop. She shows him some special gear Reed gave him to try out for free. Dill fires off some weird, out-there questions, but Layla has no clue how to answer them. Then Dill pulls out Reed's business card and calls his company to check up on it, but he just says thanks and hangs up. As he's heading to his boat, Dill bumps into Jess. He asks Jess the same strange, off-the-wall questions, but Jess also has no answers. Dill gets it. These people are just background characters in the game. In his room, Patrick pulls out his dad's old knives from a box. At the Island Hotel, Constance finds Frank in the bathroom, covered in blood, because someone attacked him. At the boat, Duke tells Dill he paid a thug to rough up Frank so he wouldn't come fishing. This way, Dill wouldn't do anything messed up out of greed. Enraged, Dill kicks Duke off the boat. Ignoring his doctor's advice to see a therapist, Dill downs some booze at Jess's bar and gets his head straight. Then he runs into Reed, who tells him he's not crazy, and they chat about some wild stuff regarding this game. Reed just doesn't know who created this game, but Dill does. It's Patrick. His son is the one who built this game because he wants to meet him and kill the man who beats him and his mom. Meanwhile, Constance cooks up a new plan. She's not letting this chance slip through her fingers, so she bandages Frank's wounds and talks him into going on the fishing trip. She also keeps plying him with alcohol to kill the pain, getting him totally hammered. Reed knows exactly what's up and tells Dill that killing Frank is his new mission. If this is the new rule, he's in to help. Dill sprints to his boat. He meets Constance, who claims she took Frank's gun. Karen and Duke are watching all this from a distance. They take the boat out to sea. As Dill's getting everything ready on the boat, he sees Sam is also on board. They can't exactly drown Frank with the kid there, but wouldn't you know it, a solution pops up. The famous fish, Justice, gets caught in the net. Dill remembers he has to choose between this fish and the woman. He shoves the fishing rod at Frank. Frank's in no state to catch that massive fish, and Justice pulls him into the water, making it look like a pure accident. At that exact moment, Patrick hears Frank yelling at Constance and beating her. So he grabs his dad's knife and storms out of the room. A little while later, Patrick comes back with blood all over his hands. Soon, the news of Patrick killing Frank is everywhere, on all the national channels. The news reveals he did it to save Constance from Frank's abuse. It also states that Patrick's real father died in the war. After that whole incident, Patrick hasn't said a word and has just retreated into himself. In the final shot, Constance says it's true that both she and Patrick still love Dill, and he'll definitely get to see his son someday. After Constance vanishes, Dill answers a ringing public phone and talks to Patrick, who promises he'll tweak the game so they can finally meet. Patrick's sitting in jail, and suddenly a smile creeps onto his face as the world around Dill starts to change. Sometime later, Patrick also shows up on that land to meet Dill, and father and son can go fishing together. If you like the video, please like it and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.